Oh, yeah.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Reality Realness with 3 S's. I'm your host here, Chantele Francis, here doing a quick scene change for your eyes, guys. This is the magic of television right here, right now, with my amazing co-host, Tanya. How are you today, Tanya?
I'm good. I'm just wondering if I get extra points for the in memoriam Greg montage from last week's episode.
Oh my gosh. I know you couldn't be here last week. I know that. But
Yeah.
that last week's episode was the episode that I needed you the most. I need to hear what she has to say about this one.
Oh, man.
If you can just share with us, what is your brief takeaways, we'll say, from basically the Greg of it all? Like, what did you think about that, their breakup, et cetera, et cetera?
Okay, so I'm team no one. I think my biggest takeaway was that it was really bad communication between the two of them, and that if this is like the way that they communicate in a fight, I don't see any compatibility there. But I also don't believe that either of them was really in it with each other for the right reasons, so to speak. I think that Katie was kind of in it for having that dramatic fairy tale ending, and I think that he was in it maybe to continue his career within this franchise or whatever, get his 15 minutes. But yeah, I'm not impressed with either of them. I do skew after the way this night's episode played out, or sorry, yesterday's finale, a little bit more on seeing where Greg is coming from, to be honest with you. But really, neither of them are impressive to me. And actually, I felt uncomfortable watching that whole thing. Like, it didn't feel fun to watch it at all.
Absolutely. I'm totally in agreement with you. And we have not really collaborated on like our thoughts and perspective on how this went down. And I'm pretty much in agreement with how you are feeling about it. I personally was like, I don't necessarily think that Greg was there for the right reasons. I don't.
Yeah.
But I do feel that there was something that she could do to get the man that she loves to stay. And I can understand him being like, well, you didn't do the thing that you could do to get me to stay. And I like, I love you. Like, I think like if she just like covered his face in kisses and hugged him and just said, don't worry, like I want you to, like whatever, reassured him in some capacity, like he would stay. Just getting on your knees and just being like, I'm just like, I you know, and just like kind of begging him, but like not giving him anything that is feel like he's loved, care about, appreciated, supportive, especially since he did, you know, do a lot by pouring his heart out to her, like you said.
Yeah.
I think personally that he may have poured his heart out to her because he knew, because he's known Katie for the last couple months, that she wasn't going to be able to reciprocate in the way that would be warranted or valued for him to stay. And so I think that he might have manipulated that situation. But he probably then also knew that he wasn't the one, right?
Yeah.
And that's where the whole back and forth dynamic is. It's like, well, Katie, you're begging him to stay, but you didn't make him stay. If the man that I loved with all my heart was like about to leave the stupid show that I'm on, I'd be like, you can't leave the show that I'm on. Like, done, I found you. Like, I'm not letting you go. Like,
yeah.
That's, and all she had to do is say that even, and he would have stayed, I'm sure. So I think he knew that he wasn't the one, or that she wasn't going to be able to give him what he would need to want to stay, and he didn't want to stay, so he used that as an opportunity to leave. And so that's where we are. And then just
I see that.
We're going to talk about it probably a lot more in a little bit, but with their interaction on after the final rose, I was extremely uncomfortable. I was like watching just like with one eye open, because it's like, why are we really applauding Katie for just like being demeaning to men that dated her, that like she didn't like how they broke up with her, or she broke up with them and how they reacted. I was like, are you kidding me? Like, on a show on national TV, regardless of if he's an actor, if he's there for the wrong or right reasons, the Thomas of it all, he still deserves an ounce of respect for the fact that maybe he doesn't know how to handle cameras in your face while the woman that you love maybe is not choosing you, because if she was choosing you, she would have made you stay. And coming to that realization, and she's just like, you know, well, you should have stayed because I gave you so much reassurance. And it's like, hey, you can't dictate how somebody accepts your reassurance, or like you have to just let him feel the way he feels. You can't decide that his feelings are invalid. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, the tone of the entire finale was so weird, which we'll get into as we go through it. But I do agree with what you were saying overall. Like, even when we were talking about it yesterday, the point that I was making was that I felt like Katie, to me, obviously that whole thing felt edited very clunky, and like obviously her saying like I just love looking at you was like thrown in there like so chaotically for the audience to be like, did she really just say that, like when clearly that's not what she said in response to him in that moment. So all of that was really off. That being said, I was coming from it like, oh, she can't really express that like she's going to choose him, so she's saying all these other things that are kind of like it. But then to your point, if it was like beyond this love that you are absolutely going to do everything for, you do like what Claire did, you know, or you'd like you do whatever it took to express that. So I think he kind of held on to that idea, like a great actor that he is. And I was like, great moment for me to cut it now because this is going to be perfect. And she didn't communicate well. She did not. Like she was not able to articulate herself well. And I think I felt that struggle where I was like, oh, she's not just saying what she needs to say. Like it's just not coming out right.
And I think this, like, I know people like roll their eyes when we talk about astrology, but they don't know how to communicate effectively because she's a Capricorn and he's a Gemini. They do not speak the same language at all. And so they might have other placements that allow them to maybe, you know, connect in different ways. But communication wise, Gemini is the planet is ruled by Mercury, which is the planet of communication. So he does get how to communicate more than she does. And he probably just feels like it's super obvious that like you could say what you need to say, and she just does not know how to communicate in that way at all. And I don't even think she has any, maybe she has some Virgo in her chart, but like not a lot of like Mercury in her chart. And so I actually felt bad for Greg after this whole thing because like, with her calling him, I'm happy that Caitlin called her out and being like, okay, so gaslighting is a strong term. And so she that back. And then like, she's just like the whole time just like labeling him as something without really solid proof of anything, which is exactly what she did to Thomas, being like, you know, you're a liar and a manipulator. And it's like, what are they doing? Why?
Well, she's a keyword ally, basically. Like that's what's come to be known of Katie in this time. This is like these buzzwords come through from that season. This tracks. This is a bullying. This is this. This is gaslighting. It's like all of those things actually exist, and there's like varying levels. But I don't know. Like you can't just throw this stuff around and then be like, that's the reason why I felt so wronged is because you gaslit me. It's like, I don't know that he was exactly gaslighting her. It was uncomfortable. It definitely felt sudden. It felt like there was some other motivation, but I don't think that he was like, I don't know. It didn't feel like gaslighting to me anyways. I don't know.
I think it might've been more so the other way around.
Yeah.
Like, he was gaslighting him for not, she feels as though she gave him enough that he shouldn't have that reaction. And he's crazy to not see that she's given him enough reassurance that he should be fine with it. So with all of our like my speculation and some people online and with Tamika, we kind of been thinking that he was disrupting her fairy tale ending. Okay.
Yes.
So she has an idea of what the story is going to go, how it's going to go. And she kind of gets blindsided by the Michael of it all. But she's like, you know what? It's fine, though. Greg, he's been my front runner all along. But really, my guy is Blake. But like, I would love to have the final two be those two. And then with the fact that Blake, this is my mom's point, not Blake, sorry, that Greg looks like her ex-boyfriend, that that maybe she wants a little bit of like, you know, subconscious revenge on her boyfriend being able to have that breakup. And Mom's like, yeah, I remember I dated a guy when I was younger, and like he dated me because I looked like an ex of his, so he could just break up with me so he can get some sort of like status validation with like, you know, his value and stuff like that. So my mom was saying like, I think that that's what Katie was doing. She wanted to like bring Greg to the end, have him be the final two, have him confess his love, and then just be like, no, you're not the guy for me. I'm going with Blake. And so when that was kind of falling apart, I think that's why she threw a little bit of a tantrum and like, I don't want to do this anymore. Book my plane ticket out of here. You know, stomping her feet.
Yeah.
Because, oh my God, I don't look cool. You know, I don't look desired. Like 2 of my front runners, I'm not enough for them to stay. The other person that's there, I know I'm not marrying, and he's just kind of there by default. And so like, I just have the guy that I'm going to marry, I guess, but like it just didn't make her, in my opinion, look like the most coveted bachelorette, and she's the one that everybody wants. And so I think she also had a little bit of like ego bruising, and that's why she was like ready to quit the show.
Yeah, and like, I don't know, I was maybe feeding into a lot of cliches at this point, or like buying into a lot of it, but from what we understand, like, first of all, if you accept being the lead of this show, I feel like there must be a part of you that wants to feel like that fairy tale thing. You don't just do this for, yes, you do it for the followers, you do it for the attention, you do it for the love, whatever reason you're there for. But like, you must know that you want that to like manifest for you that way, right? Like, so for that to break down in front of her eyes, and really in a short period of time too, because of everybody leaving, it's just kind of like, I think that for a girl like her, in terms of even how she's described her upbringing and even meeting her family in this episode, I think felt like this kind of like dream situation, and then it just didn't work out that way. And that would make you feel like shit, right? Like you'd be like, ugh, like I can't believe this happened. So I got that element of it as well too.
Yeah, no, I mean, of course, like coming from a compassionate place, I feel for her because like, oh, somebody ghosts me and I'm like, what's wrong with me? Am I not pretty? Like, I get it. But it just, I guess I never felt like Katie should have been the Bachelorette. And so I think this is a little bit of like karma for the producers, and karma for her for how I felt that she acted on Matt's season. I think it's just karma kind of all around. And not that anybody deserves to feel pain, but maybe just to have some sort of self-reflection and see, you know, things from a different angle, and have it being a learning experience. I do think that she may have learned a lot. But we do have some people joining us. So we do have BB, and we have Sophie complaining about our punctuality.
I literally ran here.
And I'm saying, just take your time. Don't worry. No stress, no stress. And Sophie's like, late again.
Listen, that's why I have my hat on. I just ran here and we are doing this, you know, just doing my best.
Absolutely. Tamika's here, of course. Hi, Tamika. Jayquan, you're here for Bachelorette. This is maybe a first, but thank you for being here. Cassandra, what does Cassandra have to say? Okay. Katie spent all season trying to get people who were there for the wrong reasons out, and then 15% of her final 4 left. We talked about this way before. It's like, stop worrying about people that you're trying to get out. Like, you can purge them no matter what. You know, you don't need to go on a mass hunt of like, who's here for the wrong reasons or the right reasons. Like, just get connected with these people. And I think if she took some of that time, instead of like canceling wrist rose ceremony and canceling that one and talking to Aaron, you know, and it's a lot of wasted time that she could have been getting to know some other people, so that she may have had deeper connections, so that they wouldn't have left at the final 4. Like,
yeah, or like actually like show us more, so that when someone like Justin is in the final 2, it's not so skewed that you basically just are like, fuck this. Like, we're obviously like, it's not going to be Justin. Like, we've barely shown Justin. We're showing Justin in this episode. We like, what was the point? Like, if there was any character development beyond what we got, then maybe they, because I feel like this was the same type of thing that happened with Ali Fedotowsky's season, where Frank left and he was like one of her frontrunners, kind of like a Greg-esque character in that narrative. And then that brought it down to Chris and Roberto. And it was pretty obvious that she was going to choose Roberto, but then they kind of tried to like make it seem like Chris might be a viable option, except in this case, they just didn't even try at all. Like, they were just like, no, like, we're actually not even going to waste your time. Like, there's no point in us expressing this with Justin. And I was just like, what? What is going on? This is so anticlimactic.
I think for the fact that the hometowns that his parents didn't show up, like, you knew that he didn't think that he was going to be winning. You know what I mean? And so he's probably like, yeah, don't worry, mom and dad.
Yeah.
I need you to quarantine for 2 weeks and do this because it's not going to be me. And then,
that was killing me. That call. Oh, I was like that. Yeah, I really, some laughs in that episode last week for sure.
Absolutely. Hi, Natalie. So Greg and Brie on Paradise together next year. Let's make it happen. Well, Brie has a boyfriend. So we were doing the whole speculation of it all when we saw them out in New York and waiting in lines at clubs together. And then just to squash those rumors, she had an Instagram story that had her holding her partner's hand. And it was definitely not Greg's arm. So no. I do think that she's still in her most recent previous relationship and that she's just was hanging out with Greg, probably because they were at like a Bachelor event and decided to go somewhere else after. That's my guess.
I heard they didn't even get into that like club or bar they were in line for.
I don't know if it was you that commented or somebody else, but they're just kind of like, well, I guess nobody knows who they are.
Yeah, I was like, not famous enough. Sorry, Greg. Keep on working. Keep on working, and you could be like Matt James or Tyler Cameron someday soon.
Someday soon. Okay. For some reason, while I was watching the show, every relationship seemed like there was something missing beside her connection with Blake. For example, the way they kiss. Well, that's kind of what we've been talking about, is the fact that she didn't allow herself to get into deeper relationship with more people. She put all of her eggs in the Michael and the Greg and the Blake basket. I don't even think that that Justin was supposed to be there. Like, he should have kept maybe Andrew to the final four, because I felt that she tried harder to keep Andrew than she did for Greg. Right? She ran after Andrew. She goes and gives him a hooju, and like, she's like, I just couldn't let you go. I need to see you again, or whatever she said. And she's like, if I could make it happen, would you want to stay? She didn't even say something like that to Greg. Just be like, I need you here. I don't want you to go. What can I do to make you want to stay for me, with us? I don't want to end this relationship right now.
I would have thought it would have been, if it wasn't Andrew in the final four, which is what I thought was going to happen, that just in a traditional ending, we would do hometowns, Justin's gone, then final three, Michael's gone. Correct. You know, it's too real, can't do it with the kid. And then final two would be Greg and Blake. Now, this worked out excellent for me because all of these people are on my team that were left. But I wouldn't have placed Justin second ever at all.
No, he was sixth, fifth, maybe fourth at best.
Like, by default, he got this position.
Like, I never thought I was gonna answer. We don't have a connection. I don't know her. Yeah, I felt bad a little bit for Justin. He does get an opportunity to ask her, like, you know, was I just there because everybody else left? And she didn't really handle this question very well, but he kind of pretended like he got what he needed. And I was like, okay, well, if you got what you needed, Justin, like, I'm happy for you. But she didn't really answer it to my satisfaction anyways.
Oh, God, no.
So at the beginning of the episode, they kind of do a recap of the breakup. And I'm like, well, do they not have any content? It's 3 hours. Why am I seeing the entire breakup that I just watched last week for 2 hours?
What was going on off the top? Okay, so first of all, it sounded like the Big Brother narration. And I was just like, wait, what kind of show are we watching? Giving us this voiceover and recap here on ABC? We don't do this on this show. That was so weird off the top. Then it also kind of felt like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire when they were in the studio, because they were just like the setting and like I was like I needed those like lights to happen. I was like, what is going on? I just put, this music is killing me. This narration is killing me. This recap is killing me. Talk show energy. Like, it just felt so all over the place. I didn't understand what they were going for with this. Oh my God.
I didn't understand either. And like it was very jarring with like kind of what you're suggesting here, with going from like this like sad breakup and moment and like, all this happening, and then like glitzy lights of the studio. And like, and it's Bachelorette ladies. I'm like, what? Like, we're talking about like super excited about the Bachelorette when these people like, I don't even think that they're gonna get engaged. Like, I was so confused by the tone of and the scene, like how they're flowing it through the night. I was like, this is not a cohesive. They should have just cut it.
No.
Show the ending and then do after the final rose. The cutting back and forth, I don't think worked.
I was like, did you put the recap because most people watching this tonight didn't watch the entire season? Because I think the ratings spiked a bit more than they have been last episode. So I'm wondering if they were like, all right, there's probably going to be some people tuning in. We just got to milk this Greg thing again. And then like the whole story is about the fight that she gets into with Greg after the final rose. And that's when I knew it was going to be a Rachel Lindsay-esque ending, except I'm not comparing Katie and Rachel in terms of the way things like they behave, but like it was just like, okay, it's going to be about the obvious choice, and then the Greg stuff afterwards is totally going to undermine her decision and just like not even make it about who she chose at all. And that's what happened.
It was so weird. I'm just confused. Maybe dare I say that Chris Harrison may have brought some unity to like some of the madness that was happening, because like I just don't see him giving the okay to having this flow this way.
The flow was off. I don't know that we would even be experiencing this if Chris wasn't there, just because it feels like they had to like change up the format in some way to kind of fit with their host idea that they have now. So like, because Chris, it would have been the exact thing it always is, like him walking in and being like, thanks for being here. Let's talk about Katie's love story, and then do his whole spiel. And then like the audience people, like we know exactly what we would get if he was there. And I think he may be, I don't know, it feels like the girls are talking to the girls, Tayshia and Caitlin are talking to an audience that's not as aware of the show or something. Like it felt very like by the numbers, like explain it type of thing. And I don't know that we needed that. Like who's watching at this point? Who's just like, obviously people that know the show. And if you don't, it's pretty easy to figure out. Like it's not that hard to understand.
It was so weird. It was not enjoyable, and it felt like 3 hours. Okay, so Tamika says Justin should be the person living in this situation. Agreed. I like I probably like, I mean, I wouldn't want her to feel bad. So if I were him, I wouldn't have left, but I kind of would be like, hey, like, am I supposed to be here? Like, is this like, are we like, am I really going to be in your final two? Because I didn't feel like we were there yet.
I think he was aware to realize that happened, but then was just like, let me finish this out. Like, as gentlemanly as I can, just to like keep my options open. Because like there's no way he wasn't aware of that. It's like they almost forgot Justin was there. At one point, like, doesn't someone say to Katie, and Justin's still here, like after Greg leaves? And I'm like, wait, come on. The disrespect. This guy's a finalist. Like, really, come on. Ugh.
And we'll probably touch back on this, but Maranda says that she really liked how she handled the Justin situation. I like that she didn't give him false hope. Absolutely. Yeah. At this point, you can't like be getting him to go down and propose when like you know that he knows that you know that he's not gonna be proposing to you. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think she was just like, I'm not going to even have that
a date.
Like him being like, I can't really propose to you right now. Like imagine him doing that as like someone that she wasn't even going to choose. It just would not would not work. And so I am happy that she didn't go on that date with him. But like, I kind of wish that she just would let him go earlier because like he was still thinking that he was going on a date, you know? But it's so exciting, so.
Well, that's also production too. Probably being like, we're not going to tell him anything. We're going to film him getting ready for this date. That's obviously not fully going to happen because Katie has made her decision at this point. So like, they are just trolling him and trying to get some kind of drama. This person is so expressive, Justin. He had no expression at all this episode. In the interview with Katie later or here, which leads me to believe that he's like, I got what's happening. I'm just going to do my thing. And couldn't even squeeze out a tear. He couldn't even squeeze out a tear.
He's another Gemini, though. This is not like, it's not the style of like communication, you know? Like, he was playing the role for sure. But I think it was definitely hilarious. I was more entertained by them showing the clips of his facial expressions and him reacting to seeing them than the entire 3 hours, which says a lot. Also, Desiree, his first choice left, and she married her second choice. Absolutely. So, I mean, it does happen. And I always feel terrible when it happens, but it's the name of the game. Yes, Bree has a boyfriend. Maybe Bree and Greg were going to acting class together. I don't think she's an actor at all.
I mean, this is all so calculating if you want to talk about the game within the game, which is people chilling outside of the show, because we know that a huge group of women from that season don't like Katie. And like, there's things that they kind of have bonded over. And then Katie kind of has some of her friends from that season.
Who were her friends?
But so I saw photos. She was hanging out with like Marilyn. There's like maybe like 4 girls or so that I see hanging out with her sometimes on her social. And then every other girl that's in New York, which is like, you know, everyone that we love, all hates Katie. So I feel like Greg hanging out with Bree, who I would put in the contingent of people who don't like Katie. But I don't actually know this. I'm just totally assuming based on.
You love Greg.
Well, I think they just want to be like, I feel like it's kind of a power move that he's like ingratiating himself with this group of people that are definitely like the popular kids of Bachelor Nation, right? Like, Katie wants to be the popular kids of Bachelor Nation, and she should be because she's the lead, but she's just not. She's not that cool, like effortless, like girl, like a Brie or a Chelsea or, you know, all the New York girls that hang out there, Abigail, Kit, like whoever's there. So I think he knows exactly what he's doing by being with that crew, and he knows that that's his ticket to staying in the game. So like, live it up.
Like, he's literally trolling her. I think that's hilarious. Mm-hmm. Like, I think it's hilarious that he was like, deuces, I'm out. Like, I don't want to be part of your fairy tale. Like, I'm going to take all these hits. I'm going to take this abuse from, like, you and from, like, you know, Bachelor Nation. And I'm going to come out up on top. I'm going to have the last laugh because I will get this. I'll still get the Instagram followers. I will still get, you know, the people that like me and that do not like you. And, like, now I can still be cool and I don't have to be locked down in a relationship. I can go and, like, just flaunt and flirt with all, like, the people that she might think are prettier or hotter or cooler than she is. So, I mean, I don't like the fact that I think he was playing a game the whole time, but I also like the fact that he was playing a game the whole time. You know what I mean?
I mean, he kept it entertaining, that's for sure. He gave us something.
Exactly. What I was saying before is that, like, if I went on the show, it would be just for the lulz. Like, like, I would just want it to be, like, as ridiculous for my friends to watch and be like, I can't believe you went on that show. You're ridiculous. And so I could hope that Greg has a little bit of that in him as well and being like, oh, I didn't expect to really get this far. I kind of went on it for the lulz. And, like, then I'm like, final 2. And I'm like, and I don't want to be here. Let me get out of the situation. And he did. He didn't really lead her on, I don't think. So that's good. Maybe bring, we see this one together already. Know the challenge. Justin who? Stop it. You know who Justin is. We love Justin. So Katie is a strange case. I don't understand her. Absolutely me neither. She's not my type of girl. She's not my type of bachelorette. She would never really be my friend or somebody that I was like, oh my God, I need to hang out with. She's not my flavor. No.
Nope.
No. She's angry Greg left, but didn't bother to try to keep him. Exactly. Like, it's just really funny.
She's embarrassed.
Of course. But at the end, where he's like, well, like, you know, everything happens for a reason. I don't have any regrets. You don't have any regrets? And she's like, well, you know, you are with the person that you are meant to be with, who you wanted to be with, who you fell in love with. And this is the path that it took to get you there. And she's like, you don't have any regret for anything that you said and what you made me feel and and I was just like, well, he comes out on top here because he didn't feel like you gave him enough to make him want him to stay because you didn't, because you wanted somebody else. Like, he didn't want to go through the process. He didn't want to be dumped.
I think meeting her family, though, gave me a little bit more insight into, like, because I feel like Katie's, you know, anytime something happens with her, she thinks she's Meredith Grey, but really she's Izzy Stevens, you know? Like, she thinks like she's killing it with her things that she's saying, but they're really just not good. Like, they're not landing in the way that she wants them to, or they're not landing with this, like, energy of, I don't know, like, if Rachel Lindsay, like, told off the guys, or even when Claire told off Yusuf, that's a great example of me just being like, yes, Claire, get him. Because it just landed with a different, like, level of authenticity. I think with Katie, it's just like, I don't know, she just gets really defensive about everything. We saw it at the Women Tell All last season. We saw it with Thomas. We saw it with whatever situation. You see it here with Greg. It goes two ways to move towards forgiveness, and the fact that she's, like, not even attempting to just kind of rise above in any way, or, like, just constantly, like, push it on the other person, even if they've done wrong. I just don't find that's a mature reaction. Like, no one killed anybody here. It's the Bachelorette. Like, it's fine. You could be heartbroken, you could be upset, but the fact that on that day, like, you're still so angry at this person and you're not able to get over that, I don't understand this. And that's how it seems to be with every situation. So I don't really jive with that style of communication. It's coming from an insecure place, I feel. And I don't know, it feels like she's raised by these women who have pushed, like, we're strong, we do this, like the way her aunt is and everything. I'm just like, this is really intense energy. She's probably not developed another way of dealing with those things. You know what I mean? She's kind of maybe been, like, in a situation where she's always had to just be forceful that way and fight for herself in that way. And that's been how she's gotten by. So it's all, I don't know. I feel like it gave me insight, though, meeting her family.
Her family gave me insight. I kind of feel, and I agree with everything you've said so far, like, with how Katie seems to deal with Greg and with Thomas, it's kind of like, it is a defense mechanism that she doesn't want to be vulnerable at all. She doesn't want to maybe look weak. I don't know if that's, like, what she's avoiding, but it's kind of like, I'm not one to be walked all over. You can't do that to me. And just because if you have a little bit of empathy in a situation and you kind of speak to someone with kindness and compassion, doesn't make you weak. And I think that is where the disconnect is for us to be able to appreciate when she's standing up for herself, because it doesn't seem like it comes from a place of compassion or pain or hurt or vulnerability. It just seems like it's coming from a place of, as you said, being defensive, putting a wall off, trying to appear to be more strong and in control than she actually is. And she seems like the type of person in those situations, if you give them one little hug, she'd start to bawl, right? She'd start to cry because, like, she's putting up that front because she doesn't want to appear vulnerable or weak. So it's it's definitely interesting to watch, and these are one of the reasons why I like to watch these shows, because it is a social experiment, and I'm intrigued by this human being is reacting in these situations.
Mm-hmm.
Me loving astrology, I'm like, oh, is this maybe some qualities about Capricorn women? Like some of them, like in its, like the highs and the lows of it. I'm like, interesting. It's been very interesting to watch in that regard. And I do have to say, I know we're not speaking that favorably. Katie, I thought she looked gorgeous after the final rose. That's the best I think that she ever looked. That little white dress. I liked her hair. I liked her makeup.
Mm-hmm.
I thought she looked great.
She looks good in a high pony. I mean, not to get too heady about what we were just saying either, because I'm not a therapist, nor am I trying to be. But when she gets angry, she sounds like a teenager. You know, like the voice sounds like it's coming from that age to me. Like it's or that type of defensiveness. So I think like whatever she needs to kind of heal within herself or keep like working on figuring out sounds very teenaged or like younger. It doesn't sound like an older voice to me when that comes out in that way.
That's a very interesting point, and I see your point. Yeah, like it's definitely not a mature way to handle a situation. Like she could still have handled the Thomas situation doing the exact same thing, but the delivery of it could have been in a way that I felt would be justified. You know, but it might be the tonality of it and like the intentions behind it came from an insecure place, which maybe meant it didn't land. It was doing more for her than for the other person. And that's, I agree with you 100%. Yes, Sophie, rub it in. We know that Tanya won the draft. We get it. Fine. You know, I stopped calculating the points a couple weeks ago, but she was already 100 points, I think, ahead of me. And I had one person left, and then he left the next week. And I was like, okay, there's no real point to track right now. She definitely has the winner. She definitely is going to get all the final three and fantasy suite, like all those points. So congratulations, Tanya. You have won your first draft with me. And well, before we get into talking about next week or the rest of this episode, should we do some sort of draft for Paradise? What do you think?
We could. We just have to, I just pick.
Like super
Well, basic. I guess it's kind of like when you do challenge draft, you know who's on it, right?
Yeah. Like
we can do something.
A basic draft. Like we can, I don't know. The only thing is we don't know who's going to be in the first group or not, but we could still just like draft all the people that have said to be on it. We can even do it at like before the first episode, and so we'll have an idea of how people interact, maybe, and maybe think of some point stuff and like who's good. Yeah, so maybe we can just like think of new point categories, because I do like the you get a little bit of competitive edge in you, and you enjoy doing well in these drafts. So it was definitely fun, even though I was losing miserably. I still enjoyed having that competition with you. So
for sure.
We can figure it out. And if you want to talk about the Bachelor in Paradise, I didn't even really ask you.
I mean, I'll definitely be watching. So
yes, thank you. So I heard Tyler C might be on Stars. Do you think that he can go for because of his what? I can't read right now.
Go far, maybe.
Go far, something.
Because of his fan base. For sure.
Sorry, I'm not in glasses, so like everything's kind of blurring together, and I'm like, what is that trying to say? Got it. Yes.
I think that's what it is. Do you think he can go far on Dancing with the Stars because of his fan base? Definitely.
Remember,
is he a good dancer?
His opening like montage was him like as a construction guy doing his Footloose impersonation, like running up walls and like in a denim and no shirt. I think
Grocery Store Joe can get any votes on Dancing with the Stars, then Tyler could like win Dancing with the Stars. Like this, it doesn't even matter if he's good at dancing or not. That's exactly the type of person that would be voted for. It's like this hot guy that people love. Like, sure. Yep, sure.
And like, I mean, I feel like that rumor was kind of put to rest because like I think that they'd had for the last 2 seasons were Bachelorette winners, so I think that maybe they were holding off maybe on a season. I'm not sure, but I feel like that was a rumor, and I don't think that it's actually going to happen.
Well, he'll be on with Chris.
I don't even know. He's so amazing. That's very exciting. Don't tease me here. Okay, Jayquan agrees. Blake and Andrew should have been the final 2. I didn't expect Michael to be in the final. Oh no, I expected him to be the final 4, or the top 8. No, he had all those sound bites, his Hallmark cards, like I get to fall in love twice stuff, like he and my James, I'm doing this for my son. Like no, he was definitely making it to more like higher than the final 8.
Mm-hmm.
I think I bonded with him. Because of the over the child, it reminds me of her with James season, kind of. It was James season.
I'm not sure.
James season with the kid would be, what's his name? That I can think of. That with Melissa and then is with Molly. Jason. I think of Jason.
Probably. Yeah, I guess. It's unclear to me if Kate even likes children. Like, I don't know. She kept being like, yeah, sure, I'll meet your child, James. I'll do this. Like, but I was like, will you really, Katie? Like, this is, she seems to be down for anything, which her family called her out on. Like, what do you actually want? Do you just want anything? You're just going to do whatever? Okay, cool.
If you want everything.
Very different realities that you have here.
So you're gonna get nothing if you're not specific. Like everything is nothing in the end. This show definitely could have been 2 hours. I think they should have just done the show and done the after the final rose and made them 2 completely separate entities. And maybe in the very end, like after the final rose, showing some clips of the season and then have people come in segments. It was very disjointed how they did it this season.
They could have just like put the Justin stuff in the voiceover, to be honest, since that was about as long as it needed to be explained.
Yeah, they could have, and like at least like he wouldn't just be like doing that B-roll shots of him like leaning up against whatchamacallit, a wooden fence staring off from the yonder. Like he didn't need to do those shots, but they're like, oh, we got to make this believable. Okay, so Sophie says that the ratings for the finale of the season dipped. Really? I thought, didn't you say they went up, or was last season?
Last episode. But also, I mean, if who's gonna watch this for 3 hours? Honestly, like people probably fell asleep.
My mom's like, I want to kind of bounce back and forth between this and Love Island. Mom's not interested. She definitely is not a fan of Katie. Michelle season starts in October. We have a bid. I know we have a bid, but like next Monday is Paradise, Bachelor in Paradise, which I think is going to be more fun. I have to say, they showed the preview of the season. It looks like chaos. It looks like fun. It looks like everything that I need to get over this season. This whole year of the Bachelor, Bachelorette, like I just need to get over it by having some trashy, fun, good times with some people that I love and hate, maybe getting together on an island that I've lived on for 10 days. So,
yeah.
I love it there. That's somewhere like I would always want to go back to. It's a cute little surf town in just outside of Puerto Vallarta, and just seeing them go there all the time, I'm always like, oh my god, I miss Sayulita. So yeah, I'm very looking forward to Bachelor in Paradise because it's going to give me everything that I want, starting with Little Wing. You know what I mean? Like I just like Little John.
Little John.
I meant to say Little John, but Little Wing came out of my mouth. I just saw a show. I just watched The Encore. I don't know if I'm sure you've heard of it. The Encore.
Wait, is that the one with like people that have all been in girl groups in the past or whatever? Yes.
So I just watched the entire thing, and Little Wayne's baby mama was on it, and so like I just
he's in your mind. He's in your mind.
He's in my mind.
If it was Lil Wayne instead of Lil Jon, though, imagine how even more chaotic that would be. But yes, the preview looks awesome. Like they always get me with Paradise stuff because it's just like at least it knows it's shitty. Like it knows it's trash. And I appreciate that. They're still trying to pull one over on us with the main franchise. and act like we're not, following along here, trying to pull a fast one. At least Bachelor in Paradise is campy, so I love it. Can't wait to see some of these folks.
The opening song, like how everybody does their silly little gimmick. I'm obsessed with that. I'm obsessed with the font. Like, it's just like the perfect font for that cheesy, like exactly what it is. It's perfect. And so I'm ready for the perfection that is Bachelor in Paradise. And I'm looking forward to just washing this year clean and maybe starting afresh with Michelle being hopefully a great Bachelorette, and hopefully Tayshia and Kaitlyn are going to be able to figure out, now that they have a season underneath their belt, a better way to act as host / liaison / chaperone / confidant / like whatever they are doing. Maybe they'll figure it out. I think that they might have to do like a good cop, bad cop type thing. Like one type of issue is what Tayshia deals with, and then one other type of thing is what Kaitlyn does. They started to do that a little bit with like similar scenarios, like Kaitlyn talked to Katie when it was like if bringing another guy into the group, like she had experience of that, and so they had that conversation. I think that they need to separate them and have them focus on their strengths, and that's what you're going to know that, okay, if Tayshia's coming in, it's going to be that type of experience. So hopefully they'll figure it out, because I think that they have something they can work with, but they're not working with what they have. You know what I mean?
I agree. I believe this is true. Like, people deserve the chance to like try it more than once. So while I felt like their role was not fully realized this time around, I feel this way about Real Housewives all the time when they introduce a housewife. I believe they need 2 seasons to get their real chance. And then after that, we can reassess. But I think like you need at least a second opportunity to just like kind of figure it out. And then after that, we can kind of look at it a bit deeper. So I'm glad that they're getting another opportunity.
They definitely deserve another opportunity, because they were thrown in a very weird time. I don't think anybody knew what they were going to be doing and how. And so they stumbled through it. The whole season was terrible, but like it was probably a very good learning experience to make the next one even better. And so I'm happy that, sorry, Katie, that they used Katie's season to kind of fumble through, and that Michelle will get a more polished version of them two leading the show and being hosts.
Yeah.
So Tamika, I mean, she saved Justin's life really from having to meet that aunt of hers. And what is her name?
Lindsay.
Lindsay. Aunt Lindsay. So what else happened in this episode? Like really, I didn't write down that much. There was a big hooju when she goes on a date with Blake.
Yeah.
Did you write that down too? You're like, hooju.
No, it was a weird one, because I was watching it, and then like neither of them he was walking for a really long time. Like you can tell the walk is so long, because he was like walking, and then she was standing, and then he was walking a little bit more, and then it felt like the walk was getting a little bit too long, so then he jogged sort of towards her, and then she jogged to meet him, and then did it. And I was just like, how long can they make these people walk? Like they're walking like a mile in to actually get this shot. Maybe that's why they jog towards each other.
Maybe
just faster.
Maybe they stretched it out because they didn't have content for this thing. Like usually long walk to just the run part, but this time they're like, oh, we need like an extra 30 seconds of B-roll here. But this is also after we just hear that, you know, Greg has left and she's struggling and she doesn't know if she wants to continue. And I'm just going to like, why is she continuing? I just didn't really, if I was Blake, I probably wouldn't have wanted to continue, to be honest. Did Tayshia? Oh yeah, Kaitlyn and Tayshia did come in and talk to Blake and Justin and kind of said that Greg was gone and that Katie did want to continue. I wouldn't have probably wanted to continue, especially if she was threatening to leave. They kind of, I believe that Tayshia and Kaitlyn put that in, like she wanted to go. I think she did, but Katie said it multiple times anyways. But I just don't think it would make the people that were still there feel great.
I mean, one of them doesn't care. And Blake, for everything, I think Blake deserves some credit for playing the game very well. Like even in his moment with her on their date when they're in the hot tub and she kind of tells him everything that happened and Greg leaving and all of that, his reaction was perfect. Like he just let her say it and I think he said wow, and then kissed her and then like just moved on with his own thing, and later on then like has that whole monologue with her. So I'm just like, you know what, Blake? You did a good job with what you're working with here. Like he managed to navigate that situation so well from a game perspective, like looking at it as like a contestant who's trying to win the show. I think he knew exactly what he was doing. Maybe it was the experience. I don't know, but very well played on his part.
Now, I know that we've been saying from the beginning that they have the most chemistry out of everybody, but do you think that he's really that into her?
Yeah, I think they have really strong physical chemistry. I don't know if he's maybe that kind of person that has that with a lot of people, because that's kind of like how he really expresses it himself physically. So hard to say. But I bought it. I think he has feelings for her for sure. I think so.
I mean, probably to a certain extent, but I guess with how they played out the episode, it seemed like he was hemming and hawing so much. I'm like, what are you thinking about? Especially the proposal part. I'm like, why is this taking like an out? Like, are you not going to propose? Like before, like when he's going to get the ring and he has to go take a moment, he has to think about it. Like he didn't really telegraph any of those thoughts. And I'm just kind of like, is he deciding whether he's going to lie for the next 2 years and pretend to be interested in this girl? Like, that's what I was thinking for those whole things.
Mm-hmm. I don't see them getting married for real. I could see them having a relationship, but it just seems like I don't think it's going to go long term. That being said, we've been wrong about a lot. Like, we've been wrong about Claire and Dale, who, you know, say what you want to say. They're actually, all of these quarantine couples have, all of the COVID seasons have been successful.
I think they're doing it in like to spite us. Like, I think they're like, oh, people don't think that we're good. Like, we're going to be together, so let's do it just to like stick it in. Yeah. Okay, laugh my ass off. Could you imagine Justin with her mom and aunt? No, I could not. That would actually, you know, I can't even read my writing here because I was like so not interested. Oh, sorry. This is the point though. I can see what I wrote now. Can you explain to me how you felt when he says the way, I don't know if it was she or he, you softly kiss my neck? I was just like, this is not the type of talk I want to be hearing. Like, I don't know. It's like, yeah, the way that she softly kissed my neck. Or was he talking to her mom?
I just can't take him seriously. I can't take him seriously.
Who was he talking to when he said that, though? I can't remember.
I don't remember.
How did you know? And it's like, oh, it's the way that she softly.
Oh, it was. I think it was her aunt. I want to say no, that wasn't it. Because to her aunt, he was like, "We're so similar," and that's when she delivered that amazing line.
I didn't write it down though. I'm sure you did though.
I wrote it down. She said, "Wait, hold on. Did I not write it down? I sent it to you for sure."
I probably wrote it down as well. But she just says, "I fucking love you so much." Like,
oh God.
You know, just kind of like, is she just saying it like that to make it seem like she's been holding it in for so long? I don't know. I think I'm just biased about like not really feeling like this season was really working, and I don't know if she really actually was going to pick Blake. Like, I don't know. It's all kind of messy. I don't know if I believe her at all.
So
go ahead.
It was when he said like, "We're so similar," or like, "We're so alike," and then Aunt Lindsay was like, "Meaning you have a vibrator? What does that mean?" And I was like, yes, actually, this is what I'm talking about from before. Like, what does that mean? Like, I don't understand. Please elaborate. And it was funny to see him squirm in that situation.
Well, it's kind of like, what's wrong with you that you can't have a conversation with this woman? Like, you don't need to sit, like, just be yourself, talk like a normal human being, and have a conversation with this woman. Like, yeah, she might be a little bit harsh, but she's kind of funny. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes,
you can totally get her on your side by making her realize, like, I know this is like such a garbage show, and like I know that like this situation is completely weird, but I really want to be with your niece. Like, it just something about it work. Like, just whatever, be real about it instead of like,
yes.
seem like it's a normal situation all tied up in a bow, and it's like, we're so similar. What's similar about you?
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
I don't understand. Is she also work in wildlife conservation? Is she also Canadian? No? What's so similar? You're both sex positive? So what does that mean? Please tell me. I want to know, which is what I appreciated about that comment. I just thought that was so funny.
I thought, though, that he was going to go into the fact that he was sex positive. I really did. When she said the vibrator comment, I thought he was going to be like, yeah, well, I mean, like, not exactly the vibrator, but like, you know, we're both like very sex positive, and like, ew, I would have been so grossed out if he'd done that. But that's what I was expecting him to do, and I was all ready to cringe. Already. You think that Breaking Katie will actually get married, though? Nope.
No.
Katie's friends are all the irrelevant girls. Night one girls nobody knows. Oh my god, yeah. I don't even know who her friends are. You just mentioned somebody, I don't remember who that person is.
Marilyn is friends with her, which I'm like questioning Marilyn's. Sorry?
Was she Filipino? Really cute? She had like the drag racing date? Is that her?
Yes.
No, she got
that was Jasenia. That was Jasenia. That was that whole drama with her and MJ, I want to say. Or no, that was with Jasenia. Wait, Marilyn got like dumped by Matt because there was some kind of like something was happening, and then like he just like
it was Victoria.
Didn't believe her. Yes, Victoria. That's it.
Victoria. And Victoria said that she was like not a good roommate or whatever it was.
Yes,
okay.
Yes.
And she was so sweet. I actually really liked her. I thought she didn't get a fair chance. But she like Matt must not have liked her at all, and just to let her go in that spot because like she deserved to have a second chance. She came across as a very sweet girl.
Yes.
I'm not really sure though how her and Katie get along.
Yeah, she just seemed like innocent and was just like a little like crying, like little sad pup. Like there was no need for it to go down that way for Victoria to steamroll her so intensely. But anyways, yes, she's friends with Katie.
Kristen was calling her Miss Thang on Twitter, which was hilarious.
Kristen was one of the girls from Matt's season. She was out like somewhat early.
I don't know who Kristen is. Some of her members seem really upset on IG as well. Ooh, I mean, I love that I'm seeing like Thomas hanging out with like all these people, like Matt P, and like just like Thomas is just living life. Getting people rumoring him to be in a relationship with Becca and filming the Men Tell All from Becca's apartment. I actually don't think it's her apartment. Diving into the foliage in the apartment to see if it's the same leaf on a tree and the height of the tree and the ladder against the wall. They're like, is it his height? Is he standing? Is he sitting? Like, is it her apartment? Which I think is hilarious that I feel like he's getting more buzz, not even showing up at the Men's Tell All and leaving probably in 12th place like she did. And, like he's definitely getting a better edit.
Just so everyone knows, Chantele is so thrilled with the redemption of Thomas coming up on Bachelor in Paradise. I just want everybody to know she's thrilled.
I mean, we should do some like addendum points, right? Like we have some of our people already. So.
I mean, redemption, we'll see what happens. But I do think that if this is happening with him and Becca or whatever, that's wild. Wow. That's just like, that brings the stock up a bit for sure.
You get to keep the people that we already have, right? So, and then we'll draft the other people. How does that make? That makes sense to me because the other people will be those that we haven't seen before or seen in a while, and so
I'm fine with that. because I still have my guy Aaron on my team.
Aaron over there.
I got Conor. I
got Karl and Thomas. And
yeah. Oh, James. No.
Oh, yeah, I can't wait to watch this. Okay, newsflash, December 15th, 2021. Katie and Blake have decided to go their separate ways. You think it's going to last that long? Really? They wish each other the best. You really think they're going to last? I guess it's only like four months. What month is it? We're in August, September, October, November, December. Yeah, 4 months. 4 months almost exactly. Okay, I can give them 4 months. They don't want to do Christmas together, I don't think. Oh, when's her birthday, though? That could be bad. It could be in December, like end of December. Aunt Lindsay for president. Don't kill me.
If Katie's a Karen, Aunt Lindsay's like the Karen origin story. Like, she's serving me like yelling at an associate at the mall, at a Bath and Body Works. She's serving me like, you know, just not all kinds of chaos that I was like, oh my God, this woman must be wild to deal with in person. But she wasn't wrong about some things she was saying, i.e., have you guys really thought about what's going on? Like, you live in Africa, apparently just Africa, the continent in general, no specificity to where in Africa he is at all, or if even he knows. For 3 months of the year, however many months of the year, like, that's just fine. Like, he lives in Canada. She did make it seem like she was like international relationship, or like he lives in another country. Like, Blake doesn't live an hour from the American border, but sure, we're good. Yeah, Aunt Lindsay, a wild character to enter the Bachelor world. Not since Peter's mom has someone been so wild to me.
No, I know. Like, I really enjoyed her. Like, I was surprised by just how, like, whoa, okay, I wasn't expecting you to be like this, but I'm enjoying this. It's rattling Blake, and it's entertaining, absolutely. Maranda says, actually, Blake is better suited for Katie than Greg. Yeah, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
I may have the minority opinion, but I think that they may work. I think from the reasons why you just said, they might not work. Like, he doesn't even live in Toronto. Like, sorry not to be kind of like, you know, but like Hamilton and Toronto are different, you know, it's kind of far from here. I just don't know if she's going to be living the life that she would want to live out in Hamilton. Like, and is he going to be moving to, where's she from, Seattle? Like,
yeah,
or wherever she's from, like,
from Seattle.
That's like not the same vibe as like Hamilton. So I just don't know logistically, like, where they're going to actually live for it to work.
I mean, Hamilton's a nice place to live, but yes, it's going to be a different vibe for her. I feel like he'll probably, actually, I don't know. We'll see, but I don't even understand how it's going to work.
I feel like he did the show to up her, like, popularity so that she could be kind of an it girl to a certain extent. Like, she's very young. When she's 30, I think, it's a perfect time to, like, take advantage of any opportunities. Like, when she threw like a softball pitch and stuff like that, she's going to be doing those type of things. I just don't see her doing that from Hamilton. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's just not a cosmopolitan enough city, in my opinion, for what she's looking for after being the Bachelorette. Did you hear the producers don't like Katie? I did hear that a lot. None of them congratulated her and Blake on their engagement. Okay, that's not nice. Anyone who comes into contact with her doesn't like her. Oh no. So that's probably the wall that she puts up, and that, like, angry thing that comes out when she's, like, breaking up with these guys that hurt her feelings.
Yeah, I did hear about this production rumor. I mean, if you think about it, she kind of, like, derailed the show in a way because she's been so different than other leads have been on social media. Like, kind of like speaking out against the way things are presented on the show in a more direct way. I feel like leads kind of always skirt having the conversation directly. It's like not really a thing that happens. She's kind of just been all over the place and just calling things out left, right, and center, which some people like really like about her. But I feel like that's maybe because she's kind of burned the bridge with production in some way, and that they didn't enjoy working with her. If the rumors to be believed, obviously, like, we didn't work on the show, so who knows? But I could see that for sure. Like,
Well, I mean, I'm wondering with the fact that she says that she dresses herself, is that because she couldn't get along with the stylist? Or like they're just like, I'm not gonna even like bother with this? Like why, like even if you dress yourself, you still have a stylist bringing you like some good, cool stuff. Like
I think that was a misguided comment where she's like, because she was on Katie's podcast, not on Katie. Katie was on Caitlin's podcast. And I didn't listen to the full interview, but there's a clip where she's talking about how Caitlin's talking to her about how she knew that it was important to Katie for her to like dress like in a way that she feels is representing her and to be more casual and to just like be herself. So I think when she says she's dressing herself, I think she's trying to insinuate that she dictated like the kinds of outfits that she was wearing. And I'm just like, they're still bad though, Katie. I don't know.
Don't understand. Even if I wasn't somebody that likes to get super glam all the time and I'm just chill, down to earth girl, like I would probably take advantage of having like 2 months of people dressing me. I love going to set because like they have all my clothes set up for me. Like I put on my clothes and like I can go to work like wearing my pajamas and then I change into my outfits and like I get to sometimes look glamorous or I get to look this. Like I love that about working in the entertainment industry. So it's just so surprising that she wouldn't want to just like, I don't know, explore that side. Be like, oh my God, I've never worn something like this before, but like, this is super fun. Like, it's an opportunity just to like play around and be girly or not girly or just like try on a different style that she's not really used to. So yeah, I thought it was a miss for me. I thought that she could have had more fun with it. I wasn't excited by any of her outfits. So it also brought down my excitement for her journey. So I'm just was like, ugh, like I can't even like her clothes. Like the biggest compliments that she's getting this season is her ponytail. Like, come on. And I like that white dress. So just to reiterate things that we kind of glossed over, but like, so she does go and she breaks it off with just have their fantasy suite. But she does have a fantasy suite with Blake. And I don't remember what their date was. They're doing the paint guns with like wearing all white. And I was just like, just annoyed by that date in general. Then they did the hot tub. Then they confessed their love for each other. And then you see the clothes strewn on the floor and the shot of her and just like her shoulders showing in bed. And then the topless Blake bringing in the breakfast in bed. What do you think about this morning after montage?
I mean, whatever happened the night before certainly had Katie feeling smitten as a kitten.
I mean, I'm not into Blake at all, but there's a lid for every pot, right? Cassandra, are you a Capricorn? Is this why this offends you? Oh dear, please don't.
Yeah, she said that's what she said. She's not. I know plenty of awesome Capricorn.
Aaron, if you're still here, hi. I didn't see your comment before. Thanks, Aaron. Okay. So we saw people that will definitely be in Paradise based on the preview. Absolutely. And then there's people that have lists of people that are coming in the beginning, in the middle, and the end. So I can compile a list for us and I can make a good draft. Like we can do a good draft with it. Now, okay, this is what we think we should do. So with the people that we already have, so if it's uneven, whatever, that's like my bad drafting or whatever. But then maybe we should just do all the other people even. So if there's like 14 people left, we'll do the rest of the people that we don't choose as evenly as possibly. I think that would work.
Yeah, I'm down.
Talisi also broke up with his girlfriend coincidentally. Well, it seemed like she broke up with him or something, or maybe he is going on Dancing with the Stars because he confessed that it was her soulmate like 2 weeks ago or something, and then the next account is that like she's like moving out and like she hates him. So something happened. Maybe they're gonna ask him to actually be the Bachelor again, and he's gonna say yes this time.
I mean, that might actually give the show a bit of a boost because based on his last appearance on Matt's season, he didn't seem super interested. Although I guess he would have maybe been in his relationship at that point in time. I don't know. After two of his friends have gone on, two of his friends, his ex, Hannah, and then also Matt, if he does choose to, or if that's even on the table, that's a wild choice on his end, because I think he doesn't need to do that, but it would certainly benefit the show.
It would benefit the show, and like, who could say no to like $100,000? Like, I think I'd do it.
Oh yeah, and people, girls would go on for him, like for sure. People would be there for him specifically.
Yeah, I don't know, Tamika, if she wants children or not. It's very bizarre that she's like pretends that she's kind of into it, but then it doesn't seem that she has a lot of history with children, and so it just can't really tell where she's coming from. Tayshia's a better host, really mentor than Katie is a better mentor. Oh, would you think that Caitlin? You mean?
Yeah, I think so.
I actually disagree. I didn't enjoy Tayshia for the most part. I thought that she's a little bit too stiff. I preferred the conversation. I guess maybe you're right. Maybe Tayshia more the hosty stuff, where it's just to be a little more straight, and Caitlin for the more so. Yeah, I can see that maybe a bit better, because Caitlin's quite personable. I feel like she's relatable. She gets them comfortable and stuff like that. So every word that ends with bull, I'm going to use right now. So yeah, maybe you're right. So maybe Tayshia is the host and does like all the openings and stuff like that, and then like the in-house mentor for chaperoning the lead. I can see that.
Yeah. I think also Caitlin was like, they needed to deploy Caitlin to try and save the end of the season, to be like, okay, Katie's like done, so we need to do something. And Caitlin, she loves Caitlin, so she would be willing to at least hear her out in some way. Like, I feel like they use the person who's like most appropriate for that scenario. Like, oh, we're bringing Blake in, we'll use Tayshia to like introduce this topic and talk to Katie about that, or talk to Katie about bringing someone to the end that you maybe didn't think would be there because you didn't see that relationship developing. Whereas like there's other situations where Caitlin's a better fit for the scenario, which is one of the benefits of having both of them. But yeah, exactly. I think for Katie specifically, that's what Caitlin was brought in to do, because she was featured way more, I felt, towards the end of the season.
Yeah, and I think it's because they're starting to find their groove. And so that's why I think that next season will be a lot better in that regard. And I think that Caitlin's she's a Gemini? Probably.
Is she?
Michelle is a Sagittarius? Because I think that they'll end up vibing better as well, because Tayshia is a Virgo.
Yeah, Caitlin is a Gemini.
Yeah. And yeah, Michelle's either an air sign or a fire sign. Because I remember thinking that she would get along with Matt.
Michelle Young, right? Michelle Young. Yeah.
So Tamika loved at the end when they have to go and find love, and they, for Michelle.
She's a Gemini.
She's Gemini as well? Okay, so they're going to get along very well, I think. That's fun.
Whoa.
They talk about liking cheesecake. Do you like cheesecake? I don't like cheesecake.
Oh, cheesecake, did you say? This appetizing looking plate?
You literally were waiting for me to say cheesecake. I'm dead.
That's like, so that plop of like jelly killed me. And her plate actually looked even worse, but I couldn't get the phone out fast enough. So I just got that chocolate cake slice.
Did you also get the maple syrup? I can't believe they're trying to really go with that maple syrup gag.
Oh my God, we don't do shots of maple syrup. This is not a thing. What?
Not a thing. Nobody really uses it, I don't think, as some sort of sexual lubricant. Like,
no.
I've never heard of
well, maybe, before. Honestly, maybe some people do. Like, I will not shame anyone if that's their thing. But like, no, like it's not.
It's not a natural pastime to use maple syrup for some sort of sexual lubricant. I've never heard of this before, and I've lived in Canada most of my entire life. for the most part. But hilarious. Okay, so that happened. Is there anything else we really want to talk about? Like, there really, other than what we've mentioned already, that's all that really happened. Like,
yeah.
Talk about just the facial stuff. We can talk a bit more about the aunt and the mom. You know, they really grilled him, and it was nice to see him, like you said, squirm. Like, it's interesting when he doesn't have rehearsed answers that he's not very appealing. I'm just like, can't you figure out what to say? What's wrong with you?
He was like good at delivering the monologue to Katie, where he says he loves her, was like straight out of a teen drama. And then when he can't be so contrived and rehearsed, he fell apart. And I kind of loved that. Just because, he's just such a ridiculous person. And I know he was my number 1 draft pick. And you know what? That served me well. I appreciate what he's brought me on my team, but I'm not a Blake person. Like, I can't take him seriously when he speaks. I don't know what it is about, like, I don't know if it's the way he phrases things or his face shape or something. Like, I don't know how to explain this, but he just feels like not a person to me. He feels like a puppet or something. Like, I don't know how to, yes, like, there's something, like, so ridiculous about him to me. So I can't take it seriously ever when he's speaking. And I like to see him just, like, totally dressed down with the 2 women. But I mean, the mom was a little bit more chilled out than Aunt Lindsay.
Sure. Definitely, she was good cop. Was it Aunt Viv or Liz that said, like, what's underneath that beard?
Aunt Lindsay.
I was just like, yes, make him shave it.
I'm scared though. All of those images of him without the beard, I actually think are worse than how he looks with it. I think he looks better with the beard. So I'm just like, I don't know.
Why he has the beard? He's one. I guess I look better with the beard. I look way better with the beard. I get more girls with the beard. Hilarious.
Very interesting styling choices in general from Blake. Also, like, I don't understand his fashion.
But I wish them the best. You know, they're both I think they do deserve each other and suit each other to a certain extent. So let's see if they can make it past Dean's prediction of 4 months from now. Let's hope they make it down. So yeah, Auntie is very skeptical, obviously. And I definitely could tell what Katie's like, oh, so she was by these women that it's like, stand up for yourself, Katie. Like, don't let anybody talk you down. Stand up for other people. Like, you know, and that was always the energy of like, come on, you don't need to like, be weak or whatever. And so
to an extra person, like to like an extreme, it's like at one point she said to Blake, like, you're not here because we want you to be here. It's because we're letting you be here, or we're letting you be. If you're in our life, it's because we let you, not because we want you to be. And I'm like, really? Like, if your close family member, your daughter or your niece is in love with this person and you're meeting them for the first time, be a little bit respectful. Like, chill out. This is so extreme. Like, there's no need to come at it that hard. So I feel like she was being like a little bit much, obviously. Like, be nice or something.
Maybe they were saying to Katie, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. And then Katie's like, no, I'm doing this. And like, they didn't want to even be there. I could see that being a thing as well. It's like, well, if you want me to be there, I'm going to make this very difficult for whoever you bring to meet us, because like, I don't even really want to have a part of this. Could be that kind of vibe.
Maybe Aunt Lindsay's like a huge fan. Maybe not as big of a fan as Hunter, but like a big fan. And she was like, I'm gonna do what we all want to do if we go on there and just tell it like it is and see what happens. Because that was, if there was a question proposed on a different podcast that I was listening to where it was like, if this was Katie's hometown date, would she have been kept if they had met her family?
No, absolutely not. Nobody's going to want that energy all the time. And it doesn't matter how strong you are as a man or like how confident you are. It's like, I don't know if I want this combative energy all the time. Like and people not being able to know when to
So much.
back and when this aggression is necessary. But great for the show. Thank you. His face change. Oh, like Cassandra. Like, I'm still dying here. But Cassandra knows exactly what she
means. Something about it.
I don't understand the support for Lindsay of all for girl power, but what's the point of being I guess it would be so joyless and disrespectful to a total stranger?
Yeah.
Well, that's okay. So, right, I was totally like, okay, you can be hard on him. Okay, cool. Like, you can play that role, but like, he's also a person. Like, you could be kind. And then I was thinking like, oh, but look at how she treated Thomas, and look at how she's treated Greg. Like, she doesn't actually know how to do that, and so she's learned the way that to treat people that you want to grill is like with zero empathy.
Yeah.
So
it's clearly ingrained in the family dynamic for sure. It's just like this kind of toughness and like get with the program, which is exactly like you said, how she defends herself is kind of like, well, that's how it is. Hey, Maggie, like that video is a perfect example of it where it's just like, too bad. This is my reaction. I don't know what you want me to do. This is just how it is. It's like, that's really like, like calm down.
Unlikable. And I think all of it is just a defense mechanism. And the reason why people are supporting Lindsay is that she was just like, she was so startling. Like, I was like, whoa, okay, this is
chaotic.
What with? All right. And like, I was just like, I found it very interesting that I just don't know anybody really like her. And the fact that Blake was just so like, I can't, like, I couldn't make any words. Like, I found that amusing. Obviously, he probably felt like garbage and like he didn't enjoy that experience. But I appreciate what drama Aunt Lindsay brought to the table. I was kind of like, I wanted to see her interact with some of the other people, but there was nobody else for the hometowns. Generally, I just tell it like it is to mean I'm awful to be her.
Yeah, or just like, sorry if I offend you. This is just how it is. It's like, no, like try not to offend me. Like maybe try not to like start there. How about that? I agree.
I totally agree with you that she definitely doesn't seem like somebody that I'd want to be inviting over to have any like discussions over dinner. Like, doesn't seem like my type of gal. Not my type of empowering woman. I kind of enjoyed Aunt Lindsay dragging Blake to his face. Yeah, that's like kind of what we liked about it. It was just shocking. We were just so surprised that someone would actually act like this. It's like, whoa, where'd you come from? So that happened. Let's just get to the proposal of it. Oh no, just getting the rings, and Tayshia calls Neil Lane, and like he was like, it was so early, and he's like, well, we need to get a ring. So she brings out some rings to be like outside the front of the Hyatt or whatever, like on the cobblestone path, and showing her the rings like she's like some fortune teller in the middle of like Rome, and then he has to like get up and walk away and think about things for a second. Like, I didn't get what was going on. Why did he not have any interviews so we can see what the heck was happening?
Because he's not even the most important part of the program, you know? It's all about Greg at the end of the day.
Oh, yeah, I guess like Greg. So is Greg getting the Bachelorette or no?
I think Greg's getting the door is open edit for something.
Getting all the ladies from the Bachelorette are going to want him edit.
Like, I guess we'll need to see. We have some time before Bachelor, which would be in the winter. So we've got a full season of Bachelor in Paradise, which could be a redemption story for people or a emerging potential lead candidate, and then all of the guys on Michelle's season. So, but I think right now Greg is in a good position if he would be considered. I think a lot of what I was reading online is like very divisive. Some people are very on Katie's side, some people are very on Greg's side, but it seems to me like the opinion of him in general is favorable or more favorable right now. So I think the door is open for him. I don't know. I'd rather see Greg's season than Michael. Sorry.
100%. I'll take Greg's season. I will take even Hunter's season. I will take Thomas's season. Like, I think I'll take almost anybody in the top 8 season. Even, I don't know about Conor, but close. Like, even Conor's season before Michael's season. But Conor, I don't want to see his season either. But I'll take any of the top 8 other than those 2 people. Like, I literally.
Mikey P?
Who?
Mikey P?
I'll take a Mikey P season. Give it to me.
Brendon?
Yeah, give it to me. I really just cannot stand Michael for the character that he's portraying. Like, he's just so like.
That's what I mean. Like, he's not even in anybody's mouth right now. Like, it's already started to decline from 2 weeks ago. So.
There's definitely it looks like there's going to be some sort of Thomas arcs, if you know what, like some of the spoilers that are going around. So I think he's going to be all right. And we always knew that he was going to be okay. I can't stand Greg either, but I would rather his like Bachelor journey over Michael A. Agreed. Michael felt fake to me. So fake. I want Andrew, but we know it won't be him. There's no chance it will be Andrew.
He's still in the conversation as well, I would say.
But, like, they're not going to pick Andrew.
Probably not.
Flopped on Matt James' season so badly. Like, I don't think they'll do Michelle Young's season and then have another Black person. I just don't see that. Maybe
from production, yeah.
But I think it'll be somebody else that comes out maybe of Michelle's season. Just go home to your kid, Michael, and leave us alone. Yes, leave us alone. Okay, so they showed the rings, and he seems a little stressed, and she's, it's a big deal, whatever. So I guess he finally gets the ring. I can't remember if he picks it up and says it was perfect. I can't remember even what happened. I kind of blocked it out. Does this happen yesterday that we watched this? Why don't I remember this episode?
It feels like lifetimes ago.
It does. I would love to see a Justin. I mean, he's a little bit young as well, but I don't think that will happen. But I would like to see a Justin season of The Bachelor. Oh, that'd be cute. So he wants to feel clarity, but he's not getting any clarity. And I don't know what he was expecting to feel, but he's not feeling it. So I was worried that he wasn't, not worried, but I was thought there was a possibility that he might not propose. And then I was like, is that she has to get a proposal at the end of this season. If she doesn't get a proposal, this season will have flopped too hard. I think that they would probably be like, Blake, you have to propose. I don't care if you don't want to, you have to propose. Because he did come in there saying, you want a proposal at the end, I'm going to give that to you. So.
Yeah. I mean, he knew what he was getting into.
Mm-hmm. So we see Katie walking to the proposal spot. I didn't mind her green dress. She looked pretty after the final rose, but she looked pretty, I thought. It took forever, it seemed, for Blake to finally get there. When Blake finally gets there to a pretty rundown proposal scene. It wasn't beautiful like sometimes they are. And she confesses all of her love to him, and then he takes an hour and a half long pause, and then starts talking about things and making it sound like he's not going to propose, and then he proposes, but he didn't sell me on the turnaround of it. It was very abrupt, I found.
Yeah, he didn't hit his flow very well here. I feel like the lead up to him saying that he loved her was more romantic than the proposal was. Honestly. Yeah. And I could not focus because of Blake's mala bracelets during proposal. Blake, I'm holding that box, and then I just saw those 2 malas, and I just couldn't take him seriously, as per usual with him. I don't understand. I actually just think I don't understand this man. I don't know. I'm baffled. I'm
baffled.
Goop.
I don't I'm from the same province as him, and I don't even know.
I don't get it.
I don't know that type of guy at all. I know Brendon types, but I don't know Blake types. But yeah,
It just didn't
Like,
feel
what is
romantic. It felt like they were just trying to convince us from that point forward. Even when they sat together after the final rose, it felt like they were trying to convince us and themselves that this was the right thing. And I wish them happiness. I actually do think, to the point of, I'm so sorry, I forget who commented this before, that they're well matched. I do think that they're well matched. They match each other's like kind of types in a way that makes sense to me, and they have chemistry. But like, I don't buy that this is the happy ending that we wanted or anything like that. It's just kind of like, this is what's happening.
Blake kind of reminds Cassandra of Demetrius from BB Can 5. No, Demetrius is way cuter, and
His side Blake is less.
Like, I just love Demetrius, but are you pulling it up?
Oh, this man?
Let's see.
I think I was just too jarred by this person as another Greek person. I'm just like always shocked when I see them in the wild.
Greek people?
Yes.
Demetrius and Ika. Hold on, let's just. I think he's I think he's much cuter than Blake.
Blake, again, I don't know. Neither of these guys are really hitting it for me.
Not fully my type, but I guess I also like him in his relationship with Ika. That like just makes him better looking to me. But I would rather Demetrius's vibe that I know of him more than the Blake vibe. You know, I'm just like, I don't know what our hangouts would be like. I wouldn't be into that energy at all. Oh, we didn't talk about it, and that's why some of the notes I couldn't read. With the date that they went on with the spiritual healer, and like they had to like write down all their deep dark secrets and throw it into, what was it called, Zoltar or something.
It was, no, yeah.
Felicia, the energy healer, the Zobra.
Zozobra, yeah.
And whenever you're ready to heal and be releasing. So I actually like things like this to a certain extent, but I didn't think it was romantic enough for their final to date. Like, get them on a yacht or something. Like, I want like some extravagant like a Love Island Final Four date. You know what I mean? Like, I wanted something a little more extravagant than throwing pieces of paper at like at Burning Man.
Out of context, it felt like the end of a horror movie. Like, they've survived, and then they set it on fire, and they stand and look at what happened, and the reckoning has occurred. But then I was also distracted by him sliding his hands into her butt pockets during that hug as well.
He does it often because he does love her butt so much.
And that's fine. Love that for you. But like, come on. Time and place.
Blake is the Walmart less attractive version than Demetrius. Okay, I guess so. He's the dollar store version. So in the end, he says, Katie, Lane, Thurston, will you marry me? Yes, yes, yes. Tayshia and Caitlin run off. And that's pretty much it. I didn't really do a really good recap of that episode. Sorry, guys, but it was pretty bad. I think we hit all the points that actually happened. I do need to mention, though, on the after the final rose, something that we didn't mention yet was the boombox flash mob at the end with the song I Want to Memorize You playing on it. How did you feel about this moment? How much do you think each one of those extras got paid? Did they get a day player rate? And tell me more.
When this moment happened, I passed away. Like, I actually just, from embarrassment, I died. And I'm a ghost now. Like, that's what happened to me. I was so uncomfortable. I was screaming. I had my shirt like this. I was just like, no. And then I was messaging you like, no, stop this. Because that was how I felt during that moment. Oh my goodness.
It was so bad. Whose idea was it? I mean, it was so bad that it had to be there. And thank you for giving me that, because I would never have thought of that. And it was like a new level of low that I appreciate that they got to. But the fact that they tied it into their first date together, and the guys, the band playing the song, and then there's a moment where he plays it for her when she's really sad, and then now the moment at the end of after the final rose, like they just like totally button the whole
just
love story.
Cringe, actual cringe. And then I have to say, some of the cuts to the audience were so funny. My absolute favorite moment, maybe of the entire episode, is at the very beginning when they played the montage that happened, or sorry, the recap of what happened, and then the Greg situation. And then, you know, after they show something dramatic, like it shows him leaving and then her being like, I'm going, that's it. Call, you know, like I want a flight now. And then like cuts back to the audience and it's silent. And then it cuts to a woman in the audience that has glasses on. And she's like, to me, like looks like adjusting like under her glasses, but it's totally cut in a way to make it look like she's just like wiping a tear. And I was like, this is it, Marie. This is ridiculous. Like, there's no way that she was crying after watching that.
Like all their headpieces, like, okay, there's a woman wiping her eye, yeah, right, yeah, right in front of, yeah, there you go, thank you. Yeah, like literally someone's looking for people that have like a good shot.
This is killing me. I was like, this is so obvious and so ridiculous, but thank you editors for that one. Just out of control. They're out of control.
And that's kind of pretty much it. Like, it was pretty disjointed, but I think we talked about everything. Yeah, like, wait, what did I write? Hot guy from Jersey. That confirm. Oh, that's what she was calling Greg. Like, I heard that you're this hot guy from Jersey, and that like you know you just came here for fame and like for like your acting career.
Dare I say acting?
Like
I want to learn that.
But like you did a good job until the end.
And then the audience, woo!
She only got one woo in the beginning, and then he started to get all the applause, which I was wondering if she noticed that.
It made me feel like it was like a Jerry Springer, or like not a Jerry Springer, like not that level, like chairs weren't being thrown or anything, but like it was kind of like that level of talk show, like a Dr. Phil like audience like background noise underscoring everything in a way that was completely unnecessary. I would have rather they just left it silent, maybe, because I was like, why are we don't need to clap. This isn't like a presidential debate. She didn't land, you know, something. It was just weird. It was just weird.
It was definitely a wrangler that like audience. You know, like it was somebody that was getting people to clap at certain moments, and like
for sure,
the audience started to realize, like, oh wait, we don't actually agree with Katie here. Like, we agree with Greg. Like, I love that he started getting the applause, and he's just kind of sitting there sheepishly and allowing her to just like attack him, and he just keeps on saying things like, I wish the best for you, and I think everything worked out for the reason. When she just sends him venom, and she's like, I don't regret anything that I did, and you know, I'm happy for you. Like, you know, like Katie, like he's saying nice things, he's trying to make amends. Like, why do you want to keep this weird feud going? Like, you've got the guy that you want. Who cares?
I think he was still like definitely like calculating in how he was responding, but like one of the best things you can do, especially if someone's coming at you with an unnecessary level of vitriol, is to be like totally calm. He didn't like raise his voice. He didn't do anything. Like, while I don't necessarily agree with everything he was saying or all of his points, or even necessarily fully understand what he was saying, he held it down. And then he also like didn't feed into anything. Like when she called him an actor, he was just like, I'm not Meryl Streep. Like, he just had good responses to everying. And he was the first one to wish her well, and then she spitefully wished him well after that.
I was like, Katie, I wish you well too. Like, what?
Yeah, I was like, okay, geez, like, is it gonna kill you to just Yeah.
The one thing though, wait, what was it that and I wanted to say is the last question that I have for you is Katie didn't tell her family who she picked. Now, do you think it's because they didn't really care for Greg, or do you think it really is because they have big mouths, or like, what do you think actually happened there?
For Blake, you mean?
Yeah, for Blake. Did I say Greg?
Yeah, no, I feel like her saying that they're finding out with everybody else is very telling of like maybe the judgment that she fears that she'll get. Because why wouldn't you tell them? Like,
Makes zero sense.
sorry? Like, I know, like, those are the two people that were there for your meet the family. You didn't tell your mom?
Like, you weren't excited? It's him.
Like,
him. He's the
she
one.
probably knew that they were going to be like, okay, good for you. Or maybe not like receive it as warmly as she wanted to. Maybe they didn't like Blake. Maybe they don't think it's going to work. Maybe they remain skeptical, which are all like fair perspectives to have. But yeah, you would still think you would tell them anyways. Like, I would be pissed if I was like finding out when everybody else is finding out.
I mean, I'm sure she played it off the whole time being like, I can't tell you guys. Like, I want you guys to be surprised. I want you to go on the journey with me. She could play it off as that, but I can't imagine not telling my mom.
Right? If you're close with your mom, or even if like she has a relationship with her mother, like you would say that. I can understand if you don't have that type of relationship, then sure, fine, whatever. If you're not close with it. But like, again, these people were here on the show and you trusted their opinion to kind of guide you. So it's a little bit telling.
Yeah, to me, it says that she does not think that they're going to approve, but once they're actually engaged, they're just going to have to accept it. I've been trying to find there's some genius person that superimposed Meryl Streep's head on Greg's body on a date with Katie. It was just so stupid that I was like, I had to try to find it for you. If I do, I'll send it and share it with you. I mean, this is pretty much it. There's nothing more to say unless you have some points that you might have written down that we didn't get a chance to talk about.
No. Covered all of my talking points. This is maybe the least amount of notes I took. So
I mean, I think
that should say something.
All your talking points went into that photo of the cake. So I think that is what needed to land, which it did. I want to thank everybody here in the chat room for being here with us through this mess. Oh, we have a couple questions though before we pop off. So how do y'all not tell your family you're engaged? I definitely don't know. It's very
exactly.
thorough. Katie did not tell them to avoid the wrath of Aunt Lindsay. Absolutely, which I think is like not great. She was cringe. I really didn't enjoy her, and I feel bad for not enjoying her, but you know, those interactions that she had with Greg and with Thomas are two things that for me defined her character and whether I was going to like her or not. And I didn't like how she handled either of those situations. So I just don't think I like Katie very much. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think she's going to be around like some of the other previous leads are, like based on everything that we're hearing. So that might be the last we see of Katie Thurston in this franchise, but wish her and Blake well, and hope they enjoy their engagement.
And his birthday. I think it was his birthday yesterday or today.
Oh, yeah. Of course he's a Leo.
And Leo, but all of his other placements are in Earth signs, which is very unique, I would say. So Tamika says I was kind of here for her going at Greg only because I can't stand him. As Kristen said, flashbacks to the Women Tell All Matt season. I still don't remember who this Kristen person is. But I definitely remember her not taking any responsibility for how she was treating the women at the Women Tell All. And the Chelsea back and forth, I remember a little bit. I just remember being pissed. So, yeah. Wrath Lindsay. Did I get everybody? I don't think their relationship is real. It's for the Instagram likes. I can see that. I can see that. Well, thank you as well, BB, Cassandra, Tamika, Natalie, and anybody else that I might have forgotten that's here in the chat. We really appreciate you bearing with this season, or bearing through this season with us. You guys make it more enjoyable. Obviously, you make it more enjoyable for me, Tanya, because it's like,
likewise.
I hear what you think about that. Like, definitely excited. So thank you so much for covering with me. You definitely made it super fun. Now, are you working on anything you want to share with anybody that's listening or watching?
No, you know me, just the usual. Doing this.
And so she says, thanks y'all. Had fun laughing with you. We had fun laughing with you as well. Definitely you and Bivina and Tamika have hit some jokes some of these times, and they're pretty funny. Like just how silly this show is, and how everybody can kind of just, it's still lighthearted, even though sometimes we have some serious topics that come up. So it was definitely good times. And if you haven't done so already, please just subscribe. Just do it. Be part of the family. If you're joining us after, leave us a comment. Tell me if you think that December 15th, 2021 is too early, and that you have more of an optimistic outlook on the lastinghood of the relationship between Katie and Blake Moynes from Canada, the winner of the Bachelorette. I do wish them well. I don't know if I see them long term, but I would love for them to prove me wrong. I don't want them to have a relationship. I would like them to succeed. So tell me in the comments what you think about the relationship. What did you think about the Greg of it all? Give me all your thoughts. Like this video. And I think that's it. Oh my God. Bye until next week when we do Bachelor in Paradise.
Bachelor in Paradise.